Hey everyone, this is Speedy Sid again. I'm doing work on my brakes to replace the brake pads. I have 2013 Aprilia RSV4. I think it's ABC or APC, something like that. It's been a while. I know the specs. Anyway, figured document the video. It may help you guys or somebody else. Most of the brakes are similar in fashion to replace. So hopefully this will help. If you have Aprilia, that should work out better. So I'm going to use a 13mm socket to open the caliper. Oh, quite tight. So I'm the second owner on this bike. I bought it when it had about almost close to 8,000 miles on it. It was low on pads, and I drove almost close to 18,000 miles roughly, and almost gone. I can still drive a couple of 100 miles if I want to, but I don't want to risk anything, so it's good to replace on time the brake pads. So I bought the brake pads a while ago. I figured it's time to do the replacement before I do any more driving. So loosen up this, take out the screws. So I was watching a few videos. They had a trick to it. To push the caliper before you take it out, move it sideways. That will push the caliper and the piston in the back, so you can put a new one in. So let's do that. They're quite far back. Okay. All right. As you can see, they're almost worn off and needs to be replaced. I think that these are push pin. Let's see. Okay, there's the groove right there. You gotta slide them out and pull them. So I'll do one at a time. And as you can see, there's a lot of gap in here. So even with the new pads, you can see they're quite thick. So I think I need to make space. This doesn't hurt if I want to use a screwdriver here still to push them out, because I'm replacing them anyway. If any damage to the pads, no harm done. There you go. All right, there you go. Okay, so as you can see, there's just slide out right here. So all you have to do is put it back in and push it back. You can see they barely left any padding to it. Okay. I don't know if you can see in the cover, see how thick they are. Oh, before I put in, I gotta clean all the carbon here, because I know eventually they're gonna get jammed. So let me get some cleaner, clean that out, and go ahead and install it. Okay, so for the cleaning, I'm gonna use the brake cleaner. I think this is the best thing you can do. Some video says you can use rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol mixed with water. But for me, I'm gonna use a brake cleaner. I mean, it's not that expensive. And then while doing the service, you wanna get all the carbon out, because they're gonna jam up on you, and second thing you know, your brakes are being worn off faster than you know. So all I'll do is just spray it, put the pad in, the cloth underneath it, soak it a bit. There you go. And you can see it's kind of cleaning it by itself at this point a bit. So make sure you can get all the corners as much as you can. So it's nicely cleaned. For some reason, I thought the pin was moving. Anyway, so let's see. It's always nice to wear gloves when you're working with any chemicals. You don't want any reaction or side effects from it. Oops, I'll put that back in. Okay. It's good that came out, so I'll just clean that up around it. As you can see, I'm just cleaning in the back of these small pistons. So over time the gunk builds up, and one of my friends, we were doing a test ride a few weeks ago. His front brakes were worn off, and turned out, seems like it was constantly engaged because these small pistons, they were jammed up, and he didn't know that brake was constantly engaged. So the whole caliper was burning, the rotor was burning. He's glad that we found out ahead of time, and he avoided any damage. And luckily after that we were gonna go for a ride in Twisties, but he got lucky and found out that his brakes are not working. So it is always good to check your brakes not the brakes, the whole bike every week before you go for a ride. If you don't ride a lot, check every time you ride, but it's good to check every week. Your tire pressure, your bolts. Once you're done, you're gonna put the bolts back in, torque it, and put the line with a marker to make sure that when you do a visual inspection, they are there where they're supposed to be. If they're not where you put a marking, meaning they're coming loose. I had that issue where the jack up bolt or the towing location for the rear wheel, the screw was coming off, and luckily I caught it during the maintenance. I saw it loose, and then torque it and put a line on it. So now every time I do a weekly inspection, I just do a visual inspection on the screw to see where the marker line is, and if it's not there where you marked it, well, guess what, you got to tighten up. And your bike has a lot of vibration, so any bolts eventually is going to come loose sooner or later. So look at your specs, what they say and what kind of torque you need. Also, there's some glue you can use. It's called thread lock. So you might want to use that to lock some screws, but make sure you know what you're doing. Don't lock every single screw down with the thread lock. So as you can see, it's pretty nice and clean. Not the greatest job, but good enough. If I take these pistons out, it's going to start leaking in my hand all over the place. I do not want to deal with that right now. So you're going to take your brake pads. As you can see, there's a pin in the back. You're going to push it and push the pin, this one right there, downwards and press it sideways. Last time I touched it, it was pretty hard, so let's see if I can get it right. Nope. Did not work that way. I remember it was painful getting them in then out. You do not want to mess up this pen because you have to order a new one, and I don't have a spare one. And I'll be down for a few weeks. I may be installing it wrong. Let's see. Yep, maybe it's this side. That's why it's not probably. Let's see. All right, one down, one more to go. I thought the pin actually sits here, but this sits on the side. So I don't know if you can see that on the camera. So the edge of this thing is on the center. I thought it will be sitting on these grooves, but it's actually sitting the U-shape section. So let's take it again. So I noticed that if I put one side in, like this side, press the other side in and makes it easier to go in. Okay. All right, goodness gracious. Okay. Let's try again. I am not angling it right. Okay, there you go. I just got lucky. All right. Okay, it's done. You can see there's a lot of gap. Don't worry about unevenness. As long as you can fit in, you're gonna pump the lever on the top and tight the screws. As long as I can get this in. There you go. All right. Okay. And you can see the marking there was there before. I'm gonna do the new marking when I'm done. And you probably, I don't know if you noticed in the beginning of the video, you can rewind it. These linings end up meeting like this right here. So when you're doing visual inspection, looks like this or this. Well, you're tightening this, so it should look like this if it's coming loose. So it's a visual cue. Something isn't right. So for my bike, it's a 36 Newton meter torque. So check what's on your bike. and do the exact torque. You don't want to ballpark it accidentally because it may come off loose, like I said. So the key is I'm going to do is keep them a few turns loose. You can see that, a few turns loose. So what you do is pump the brake and let it pump, and then let the grip the rotor and lock it. Once it locks, this thing is going to line itself in the center. Once it does, keep holding the lever on the top. With the other hand, just tight this screw in, and that's it. It should be centered. So I can't show you the lever, so let's see if you can see it. See, it's loose. I'm pumping the brake. You can hear it. They're quite tight, not going anywhere. I'm just putting in the center, and I'm gonna torque it down with the. So I got the torque wrench set to 36 Newton meter, and I'm going to try to tighten it. Oops. Oh man, I broke it. That's weird. Let me get another one. Okay, I broke off my torque tool, so I have to get a new one. So I got a slightly bigger one I had laying around. So I'm gonna set the torque on it for 36 Newton meter and try to tighten it again. Hopefully without breaking it this time. Okay. All right. So the torque is set. Just gotta make sure this doesn't run. Hopefully. There you go. It was easy. There you go. Done. So your brake job is done and good to go. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and it's meaningful, and hopefully you can do the work on your own. Keep in mind, if you're not doing the work on your bike, regular maintenance like changing the brakes, changing the oil, spark plugs, anything major, you can take it to a mechanic if you don't know. Anything small stuff, you should be able to do it. Otherwise your cost of owning the bike is going up. If you have a lot of money, good luck. Thank you for watching again. I appreciate it. We'll see you again. Bye.